Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of logo design using Photoshop and Illustrator. So now we are on our chapter number 9. Here I'll be showing you guys about creating a logo using grid. Okay, so how you will be able to create some grid over here, and also how you will be able to create up a stunning logo using that. We will be learning about all those things over here into this particular chapter. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So over here, as you guys can see, now again, I'm here in the home page of the Adobe Illustrator. And from here, first let's create up a new file. Okay, let's name this one as grid logo. And I will just keep the width as 800 pixels, the height at 800 pixels as well. Keep a blade of 5 and let's click on create. Okay, so over here, as you guys can see, now I do have created this particular artboard where I'm going to work. Let's turn on the ruler and let's place this ruler on all the sides. Okay, so let's put it over here on down as well. Let's now put it on to the right hand side and let's put it on to the left hand side as well. Okay, so now my artboard is basically ready. Okay, so first thing first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here into my toolbar and I will just go to my shape tool. So let's right click, and here you guys can see that I do have the line segment tool right over here. Okay, so I'll just take out the line segment tool, and from here let me just increase the stroke by 1 point. Okay, so let's come here, let's click on shift, and now let's create one line. And once you have created this particular line, let's just zoom in to this particular point. And now let's take this selection tool. And now let's click on Alt and let's just position it right over here. Okay. And the same way, now let's select both of this. Let's click on Alt and let's just position it the same way over here as well. Okay. So now again, what as I do have this 4, let's come here, let's click on Alt and let's duplicate this over here as well. Okay, so I do have duplicated this one. And lastly, let's select this 4, and now I will just click on Alt and I will just duplicate this right over here as well. Okay, so now as you guys can see that I do have these 12 lines over here. Now again, I will select both of this. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to click on Control C to copy and Control F over here to just paste it on top of this one as well. Okay, so once this is done, let's come here, and if you do want to flip it, you guys can come here and you guys can just flip it vertically or horizontally over here. Otherwise, if you do want to give this thing up a rotation, you guys can just come here and you guys can just give this one up a 180-degree rotation. Okay, so now let's select all this thing up, and now control minus to zoom out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here and let's select all these things now, and let's select any of this path and let's try to place it somewhere over here in the center. Okay, so control plus again to zoom in, and let's come over here onto the right hand side. And as you guys can see that I do have created this particular grid. Now the next thing is I need to search that what is the center of the grid. Okay, I need to find the center of the grid, which is basically this one right over here. Okay, and now again I will come here into my shape tool. Let's take my ellipse tool, but now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here, and basically from here now I'm going to create up a shape exactly from the center. Okay, so let's come here, and from here, now let's click on Shift and Alt, and from here, now let's try to create up a shape. Okay, so over here, as you guys can see now, I do have just created up this particular shape. If you do wanna move it up, you guys can come here and you guys can basically move this one up as well. Okay, so let's come right over here, and once this is done, let's come to this particular point over here. And now let's zoom in using Control Plus and make sure to just position it quite properly. Okay. So let's come here. Let's try to position it quite properly over here. Let's position it. Control Plus. Let's go on top, and over here now let's position it right over here as well. Okay, so I will just place it right over here, and now this one kind of looks good. So Control minus from here, and as you guys can see, this particular grid is basically looking good. Okay, so now the next part what is left is let's click on Control minus, and lastly let's select all of this. And once you have selected all of this, now let's take my shape builder tool. Okay, so once I've taken this shape builder tool right over here, now I can just start creating up a shape. Okay, so let's come here and let's try creating some shapes. Okay, so let me just take this one right over here, and also let's take out the shapes, and from here now let's try to get a perfect idea about this one. And once you are over here, you guys can see that I will come here and I will just take out the shape from this particular end as well. Okay, so let's come here, and if you do want to go back, so Control Z over here, let's select both of this. Let's select this one right over here again. Let's come here and let's place it right over here. And here, this is how it actually looks. Okay. So once this is basically done, now the next part is this right over here. So let me just come over here again. Let's just select this part, and this is how it actually looks. And lastly, right over here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here, and now I am going to create up some other shapes. Okay, so let's come here, let's come over here again, and now over here I'm going to just join this one right over here itself. Okay, so now let's join this part over here. If you do need to make any changes, if you feel, you guys can come here and you guys can just make those changes right over here as well. Okay, so now as this is done, okay, the logo over here is basically done. So now let's take my selection tool from here, and let's just select all of this. Okay, let's just select this particular part. Otherwise, if you do want to delete it, let's select this path, and I can just click on to delete option. Otherwise, what I can do is I can come here and I can just take out these particular shapes. Again, let's select all of this, and from here, now again let's take my shape builder tool, and what I can do is I will just click on Alt and I can just delete these extra parts which I have over here onto the sides. Okay, so I will just delete this part, delete all of this right over here as well. So let's come here, let's just delete this part, let's delete all of these parts right over here. And also let's delete this particular sector. Just take your own time on deleting this parts right over here. Okay, so if you just control plus right over here, and now let's click on alt again. I do want to delete this part. Okay, so let's take out this one. Let's delete this. Let's come here. Let's delete all of this over here again. And let's delete this one. And now again over here, I will just try to trim this one down as much as possible. Okay, so just try to trim this particular place down how much ever you guys can. Let's come here and let's just take out this part. Okay, so I'll just click on alt and I will just go into this middle part, and I do want to delete this middle part right from here. And again, let's come here, let's delete this middle part over here back again. And also now let's come to this position, let's come here and let's delete this. Let's delete it right over here back again. And once this is done, okay, so this part is done, this part is done as well. So once this is done, now let's come to the next thing, which is right over here. Okay, so now I will come here, I will just delete this small part over here. Okay, so I do want to delete that one. So for that, again, let's click on alt, let's delete this. Let's delete this particular part over here. Lastly, let's select this one and let's go to this particular position. Let's click on alt and let's just delete each and every part right over here which I have. Okay, so now let's just delete this one, and here again I will just delete over here in this particular center as well. And now let's delete this part, let's delete. And over here also, let's try to come here, let's try to delete this one. Okay, so over here you guys can just delete this part as well. Lastly, let's come here and let's delete this, let's delete this one over here. Now once this is done, okay, so I do want to delete the middle part from here also. So let's come here, let's click on alt again and just draw a straight line from here. Okay, so I do have drawn up this straight line right over here, and let me just delete this part as well. Okay, so I do have deleted this part. And lastly, let's come here and let's delete this particular part right over here as well. Okay, so now I will just go back, and as you guys can see, this is how it actually looks. Okay, so over here you guys can see now, here I do have this kind of sign right over here. And also at the same time, let's come here, let's go to my rectangle tool. And from my rectangle tool, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here and I'm going to create up a straight line. Okay, so now let's come here and let me just place this thing right over here as well. And once this is done, if you do want to position it properly, you guys can also do that. Okay, so as this is done, now if you do want to put out a circle just beside this, you guys can come here and you guys can just put out a circle just beside this one as well. So let's take my ellipse tool, and from here let's try to find out the center. And from here now let's go with this particular circle. Okay, so now I will just go with this circle. Let's come right over here, let's go on to the sides, and after that let's come here, let's decrease the circle, and at the same time let's come here and let's just decrease this particular part from here as well. So now if you do want to take a half circle right over here, you guys can basically create up a half circle. Otherwise, let's come here and let's take my ellipse tool, and from here now if you do want to create up a half circle, let's come to this particular position. Okay, and now let me just place it right over here. Okay, so just place it right over here somewhere. And this one kind of looks good if you do want to use the shape builder tool again. Otherwise, I will just click on enter, and you guys can just put some boxes over here into this particular place as well. Okay, so now let's take some rectangle boxes, and over here now let's place out some rectangle boxes over here. So let me just place it. Let's cancel this one. And again, let's come here. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna come here. Let's click on Alt, and you're going to duplicate this particular part right over here again. Let's come here. Let's just duplicate this particular part. And now let's try to decrease the size from here. And at the same time, let's try to decrease the size from here as well. Let's Control Z. And here you guys can see the stroke have increased a lot. So I'll just give the stroke 2 points over here. Okay. And also, if you do want to keep this one as 1 point, you guys can just keep this thing as 1 point right over here as well. So if you don't like this particular part, let's come here. Let me just place this one out from here. Let's place it somewhere at this particular place. And now let's click on Alt. And here you guys can just move this thing all around right over here. Okay. So here now let's select both of or three of this. Okay. And once you have selected three of this, now you need to make sure that you align all of those vertically over here, or you want to distribute those objects properly. Okay, so I'll make sure that I do object, or I do actually place all of this horizontally and quite well. Okay, so now I will just select all of this part, and I will just delete this one. And the same way, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on Control C, and now I'm going to click on Control F. Now again, let's click on Shift and Alt to increase the size. Okay, so I will just increase the size right from here. Let's select this one. Let's select this particular part as well, or the inside layer. And if you do want to give out some color, or if you do want to merge both of these layers, you guys can come here and you guys can do that. Let's go to File, and from, or let's go to Object, and from object you guys can just click on expand. So I'll just click on OK. From here now let's select this one, this particular path, and if you do want to give out any stroke, you guys can come here and you guys can just give out a better stroke on the outside part. Okay, so now let's select all of this and let's put colors individually. Okay, so let's come here. Let me just go with this particular color. Let's take this one and let's go with some dark color. And at the same time, let's come here. Let's go with some ash colors. And also, let's come here. Let's take this one. And the same way, let's come here. And now I do want to apply it right over here as well. Okay, let's come here. Let's select this. Let's go for this one. And again, I will just select this icon. I will just go for this particular color. Let's go for this, and I will just go for this color all over again. So let's take out this stroke which I have. Okay, and also if you do want to give this one up a different color, okay, so I will just come here and I do want to change this one with the stroke, and also I will just increase my stroke from here. Okay, so let's just increase the stroke right from here as well. So if you do want to zoom in to any particular place, you guys can come down and you guys can just delete this part as well. So control minus from here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select all of this and I'm going to click on object, and from here I will just click on expand. I'll click on OK, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to increase the stroke quite a little bit. And if you do want to change this thing up, let's come here, let's select all of this, let's take my shape builder tool, and over here now control minus, and over here I will just try to make it a lot perfect. Okay, so you guys can come here and individually you guys can just select these parts, and basically you guys can just delete these parts from here. Okay, so individually you guys can just click on alt and select these parts, and also control minus, let's check other places, and also over here let's just move it on to the right hand side, and control plus, let's move it on to the left hand side. Let's move this one a bit more, control plus again, and let's move it on to the right hand side over here. And here you guys can see that you do have these options where you can just delete this part. Okay, so once this is done, let's come here and let's control minus, and here you guys can see now this one looks a lot smoother. Okay, so over here if you do want to select any object, okay, and over here if you do want to increase it, or if you do want to increase the stroke, you guys can come here and you guys can basically do that the same way. You guys can come here and you guys can just increase the stroke, and also let me just place it right over here, and at the same time I can increase the stroke from here as well. So here I hope this class was clear on how you will be able to create up a logo quite like this. Let's select this one and let's click on shift and let's increase the size quite over here. Let me just place it over here in the center, and let's place it over here, and this is how it actually looks. And lastly, to save it up, let's go to file. From here let's go to export, and now let me show you guys about save for web legacy option. Okay, so this is how it will actually appear. Okay, and from here if you don't want a black color, if you do want it as transparent, or let's go with none, and I'll just make sure that this is a transparent one. So I'll just keep it right over here. And now I do want to save it up. Okay, so let's click on save, and over here I will just save this one as a grid logo. Let's go to my resource file and let's click on save, and this particular logo has been saved as well. And I will also show you that how you will be able to save out the file in which you're going to work on. Let's go to file, and from here I will just click on save as. So you are saving the AI file, which is the Adobe Illustrator file, which we can work on later on as well. So this is grid logo. Let's click on save, and the AI file will basically be saved if you just click OK right over here. So this class was clear. I hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.